Good morning from Fox Bend Golf Club in Oswego, Illinois, and welcome to the opening round of the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open. I'm Dan Roan along with Tim Little. Good morning from Fox Bend Golf Club in Oswego, Illinois, and welcome to the opening round of the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open. I'm Dan Roan along with Tim Merrick. Great to have you with us. We have quite literally weathered the storm and are happy to get going here on opening day.
That's right, Dan. Some 6 inches of rain over the last month here. Lou Ramadani and his maintenance crew here have done an excellent job at getting this course prepared for the weekend. We've got more than 80 players in the field, 15 sports classifications, $30,000 worth of firsts. It's going to be a great weekend.
It is, and we'd like to show you every single one of the competitors here, and you'll see some amazing athletes as we move along. So what we're going to do today is show you the opening tee shot of every player in the field. And then on tomorrow's broadcast, which should begin sometime around 11:30 or so, we'll go ahead and do more of a traditional golf telethon.
Yep, and for the opening ceremonies this morning, we're going to throw it over to Eric Ciotti, who will have the mic and get us underway.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open here at Fox Bend Golf Course. My name is Eric Ciotti. I'm the Director of Member Services Development for the Chicago District Golf Association. We are thrilled to welcome all of you to our third iteration of the Chicago Adaptive Open. We have 84 golfers here from around the world competing for all kinds of prizes. We're very enthusiastic about this event, and we'd like to thank a number of people for this. First of all, we want to thank Lou Ramadani, the head golf professional here at Fox Bend Golf Course. Let's give Lou a round of applause. Lou, I'd like to ask you a little bit, how excited are you for this weekend?
Yeah, real excited. Obviously, last year was a wonderful event. Getting to know the players, seeing a lot of familiar faces back here this year. That's exactly what we're looking for. Is a nice championship. Golf course is in phenomenal shape, so really looking forward to the championship.
Thanks, Lou. So as I mentioned, this is the third iteration of the Chicago Adaptive Open, and I want to take everybody back a little bit. 2 years ago in 2024, we hosted this event at Cog Hill. We had a field of just over 50 players. And really, from a Chicago District Golf Association perspective, we are extremely thrilled to host this event for a number of reasons. This is really a celebration of the adaptive golf community. It's a celebration of camaraderie, fellowship. We've seen a number of players that have played all 3 seasons. Just a quick word about the Chicago District Golf Association. Our motto is better through golf, and we are absolutely feel like this event embodies everything that the CDGA and the CDGA Foundation is all about. I want to introduce our 2025 overall champion, Ford Martin. He's back with us this year. Ford, thank you for coming back. Ford, I just want to have you talk a little bit tell me about what the experience has been like these last 2 years here at the Adaptive Open.
Well, it's been one of the best adaptive tournaments that I've been to here at Fox Bend and that the CDGA puts on. I've been looking forward to getting back here for a year now, and just the level of play from the competitors and the build-out that the CDGA and Fox Bend Golf Course puts up is just incredible. It makes us feel like we're pros and this is a professional tournament, let alone the streaming. It's really cool to be a part of, so I'm just happy to be back.
So you've played in a number of these. You played in U.S. Adaptive Opens. What's it like? What's that feeling on the first tee when you're going to hit the shot here in a couple minutes?
Oh, yeah, there are always some nerves. Usually I try to swing harder when there are some nerves, and it usually works out well for me. But, that's what you practice and grind for is to have those feelings on the first tee. And I love to compete and looking forward to getting started today.
Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being here, Ford. Let's give a round of applause to both Ford Martin and Lou Ramadani, our head golf professional here at Fox Bend Golf Course. Tim and Dan, we'll send it back to you guys. We're going to get started here in about 7 minutes, and we'll have the first tee ceremonies. Thank you.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. What we'll be doing here this morning, I didn't know there was going to be math involved, Tim, but we do have 84 players, which maxes out to a perfect 28 threesomes. We're going to go off split tees, number 1 and number 10. Ford Martin will be part of that opening group, along with Mark Sissom from Scott City, Missouri, and
Issa Lareb here from France. All played a pretty big factor in the final round last year. Mark Sissom, you heard Eric say Ford Martin won the overall championship. Mark Sissom won the senior division last year, and then
As we talked about before coming on air, Issa was a big part of that final round, had the lead there towards the end, and has returned to hopefully put his mark on this championship.
Yeah, Issa will strike the opening tee shot of this event. And obviously, if you know anything about this young man, nobody has a backstory, Tim, quite like his.
Yes, quite unique, as we highlighted last year. A native of Cameroon, currently lives in France, but was playing able-bodied on the Alps Tour over in Europe and was playing in a tournament in Egypt when he contracted bacterial meningitis. This was back in 2017 and put him into a 4-day coma. When he woke up, he had necrosis across all of his extremities and actually had multiple amputations. So a very inspirational story. Lost both legs, were amputated in all but 2 of his fingers on his right hand. So as you'll learn and see throughout the morning here and throughout the weekend, there are different ways to hit a golf ball, Dan, and these people are inspirational and show you that this game can be played by all.
Yeah, you'll see players who were born with birth defects, born with a disability, others who've been injured in accidents, and stories like Issa's, which is really mind-boggling. That a guy could come from where he came from and compete in an event like this. And not only compete, Tim, but he's one of the best players out here.
Yes, consistently competing across the various adaptive open championships across the country, across the world, as this adaptive golf community has expanded over the last few years. And as you see on screen there, again, shout out to our host here, Fox Bend Golf Course in Oswego. The course will play to a par 72 over the weekend, 36-36. The gold tees will be 5,000 yards. The white tees just a shade under 6,000 yards, and the green tees just over 6,000 yards. So a playable course. And Dan, you had the chance to play it yesterday. Tell us a little bit. We mentioned in the intro some of the rain and weather we've gotten over the last few days. Tell us how the course is.
Well, it was very good, I thought. The greens are terrific. There is a pile of debris near the maintenance shed here that is larger than the shed itself. The 10th fairway was covered in tree limbs when the staff arrived on Friday morning after Thursday night storms. For them to get this golf course in the shape that it's in right now is really amazing. Tip of the cap to all the grounds crew and all the people who've helped out here in getting this course ready to go. There is a stream that runs through the bottom part of the golf course, and on either side of the water there, it's a little bit spongy, but beyond that, I thought it was relatively firm, and the greens, as I said, were really good. So we're expecting great conditions for these guys. The wind is down a little bit today from what it was yesterday, and certainly scoring conditions out there today under bright blue skies, and everybody's happy to see that.
As you see a live look there of the range as players get their preparation underway. We talked about the course, and we'll get into some of these classifications. 15 sports classifications represented throughout this weekend. We will award a winner in each of these classifications as they come up on the screen. So a variety of various disabilities, whether it be arm impairment, leg impairment, mental disabilities, things of that nature. We have a lot of different groups represented throughout the weekend, and Dan, you mentioned the course overall, a championship level course, as the course, hosted an Illinois State Amateur Qualifier on just Wednesday. So some of the best players in the state competing there as well. So happy to have this Open Championship again at Fox Bend after last year's success.
We should mention that our broadcast today and again tomorrow is a collaboration between the Chicago District Golf Association and CGN. We're happy to partner with CGN once again this year. And we also should point out the way that the community of Oswego has embraced this event, Tim. I mean, everybody's involved, and they're hoping for bigger and better things as the years move on.
Yes. Fox Bend has made a long-term commitment to not only the CDGA and our association, but the adaptive golf community as a whole, and hosting this championship for a few more years as well. And as you said, it takes the association, it takes CGM, but it also takes a lot of volunteers, the community, various businesses that will be highlighted throughout the weekend to put this on. And it's not just a golf tournament, Dan. It's a community. You'll see players high-fiving throughout the weekend within the same group, clapping for their fellow competitors. It's it's a different way of golf than you might be used to seeing on television throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's so happy to be able to come out and play in an event like this that the joy really permeates all these groups. Everybody's cheering for everybody, as you said, and that's what makes it so special and so much fun for everybody to get out here and play.
Yeah. Now in our third iteration, and again, our first year was at Cog Hill, and we thank Cog Hill for their commitment to the game as well, getting this event underway. And then last year we transitioned over to Fox Bend, and we've gotten more sponsors, more community buy-in. The purse has risen from 15 to 30,000 thanks to our presenting sponsor, Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. So you heard Ford say it feels like a professional event, and that's the kind of experience we want to give these players.
Just a couple of minutes away from the opening tee shot here.
Yeah, so again, we will be rotating back between the first tee and the 10th tee here at Fox Bend. So for anybody watching at home who might have played Fox Bend in the past, we have flipped the nines. So the first tee here for the Adaptive Open is actually the 10th tee, and vice versa for the 10th tee. So we'll send it back out to Eric to get the thing underway.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome again to the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open here at Fox Bend Golf Course. Our first pairing is the 9 a.m. pairing off the number 1 tee. Please welcome our defending champion from 2025 from Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. Ford Martin.
Ford Martin plays out of Congressional, one of the storied golf courses in our country, and actually was the overall club champion there. So he is a player. You'll get a chance to see a pretty good swing right there.
Yeah, born with a neurogenic club foot, and then the muscles below his knees are a little not as useful as they might be for others. So again, pretty impressive to see someone of his caliber playing at Congressional, and as you said, competing for club championships.
All right, here's Issa Larep getting ready to hit it. Again, this young man from Cameroon, homeless, grew up scrounging golf balls off the only golf course there to try and feed himself, and wound up losing it, both legs and most of a hand, and then a couple of fingers on his right hand. What he does is wrap the golf club around his left hand. He has prosthetic legs, I should say, and I mean, this guy's swing is unbelievable for what he's had to go through to get back to this point.
And as you'll hear throughout the broadcast today, a lot of these players, some born with their disability, but others have come across their disability over the course of their life. And Issa was actually a competitive player prior to this ordeal here in Egypt. So that itch doesn't go away, and it's nice to see that he still has an outlet. As Issa's tee ball is away there.
Taking a long look at it.
Yep, this first hole here at Fox Bend, just a par 4.
Mark Sissom is up next. He was our senior winner a year ago. Mark plays out of Scott City, Missouri. Lost his leg in a motorcycle accident several years ago, and his wife and some friends talked him into getting back out on the golf course, and lo and behold, he's become an excellent player.
Doesn't seem to mind that tee shot.
No, a quick pickup of the tee, and away they go. That's the opening group here in the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open. We are underway.
Talking just before we went on the air, and Mike Gilligan, Tim Robinson on the CDGA staff, kind of spearheading the efforts from the association side, and this event doesn't get put on overnight, right? It's been a few weeks, a few months here of build up and working with Fox Bend and the Oswego Land Park District and the community here to get this underway. So it's nice to see this finally underway. And again, as we mentioned, this event for the 2nd year in a row, presented by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, proud partner here in the Chicagoland area, and we're happy to have them on board for yet another iteration of the Chicago Adaptive Open.
We should point out that if you're watching the live stream today or tomorrow and you're in the area, you want to come out, there's plenty of room for spectators here at Fox Bend, and the competitors would love to have some people out there cheering them on, and that opportunity is certainly available either today or tomorrow.
So as we mentioned, 1st and 10 tee here will be starting holes, so we're going to move over to the 10th tee. This will be the group of Jared Stansel, Kenny Green, and Cully Johnston. So I believe this is Jared Stansel here. Actually, pardon me, this is Kenny Green, playing out of the G2 sports classification.
Kenny Green from Smyrna, Tennessee.
I believe this is Jared Stansel teeing off here, just making sure we have the right identification. It appears we do. Jared Stansel out of Bradenton, Florida. Started playing the game of golf when he was 4. And Dan, we like to include player information forms, and Jared says he is a ladies' man. Some nice information here as he tees off.
I'm sure all the ladies like that drive. He took a long look at it.
And that polo as well, looking good on the first tee here.
Well, the 3rd member of this group is a Chicagoan, Cully Johnston, who was a tremendous amateur player right up until being diagnosed with a brain tumor last August. He underwent brain surgery in September. Amazing. 4-time Cook County amateur winner. He's played in the U.S. Mid-Am. Was a plus 2.9 handicap at one stage in his life, and now says he's hoping to break 100 today. But it is absolutely great to see him out here.
As we said, some born with their disabilities, others come across it later in life, and I think the game of golf has gotten even more important for Cully throughout this ordeal. So nice to see him teeing off. Keeping an eye on that tee ball.
A pretty good rip at it. Cully is undergoing treatment on a daily basis as he tries to fight this brain cancer, and we wish him the very best, and we are thrilled to see him out here competing this weekend.
So it looks like Jared Stansel is going to put a second ball in play here off his first hole. Get Jared from Bradenton, Florida. won the gold medal in the USA Games in Seattle in 2018 with his dad. So not just a one-trick pony here, golf and basketball part of Jared's life.
You can see the stream that in the top of your screen that runs across this golf hole. I think Jared may have found it with that opening tee shot. Looked like that one was a little bit better.
Yep.
Pretty good par 4 there, number 10.
Yep.
On the other side, you kind of ease into your round. The first hole is a relatively short par 4, pretty much straight away.
Yep.
And that's where we will be headed for our next group, which includes another local player, Victor Postillion.
Yeah, good group here of Victor Postillion from nearby Winfield, Illinois. We've got Evan Mathias from Indianapolis and Tracy Raymond from Montrose, Michigan. Again, and throughout the weekend here, we will be flashing up some of the logos of our partners here, and can't get too far along without thanking Wadsworth Golf Charities Foundation, a big part of the golf community here in the Chicago district, and had a hand in laying out this golf course itself. So we thank Wadsworth for their continued collaboration, not only with the CDGA, but also the Chicago Adaptive Open as well.
Yeah, I believe the golf course is in the neighborhood of 55 years old, and the Wadsworth Company was instrumental in getting shovels in the ground and getting this project underway way back in 1970.
So it looks like Victor is going to be the first to tee off, a local guy here. And you'll notice he's wearing an orange polo here, a CDGA branded polo. We'll get into some details about a new format this year, the Click Pearl Cup, which features teams from various states. We've got Illinois represented, Arizona, Indiana, as well as Michigan. So a little bit of a competition within a competition here, but Victor, again, as we mentioned, there was an Illinois State Amateur qualifier here on Wednesday. Victor competed in that. Unfortunately, didn't make the cut, but is here to compete this weekend and played a large role in that playoff last year with Ford Martin for the overall championship. Looks like a solid swing there, and Victor's round is underway. Looks like Evan Mathias will be next to play here again from Indianapolis. Evan, a big family man, credits his wife Layla and his amazing daughter Grace for providing the support he needs to compete across these Adaptive Open Championships, as we mentioned, becoming more and more frequent across the country.
Big, powerful swing.
Yes.
From Evan.
Yep.
I mean, you'll see people playing in this tournament today that will knock the ball off the tee at the 300-yard clip, which most of us can only dream about. Correct.
And then Tracy Raymond here again from Montrose, Michigan. Tracy was hit by a car doing 80 miles per hour, so was given a 2% chance to live after that ordeal, and we're happy to have him here competing this weekend.
Tracy's made 7 hole-in-ones, so
that is 7 more than I have in my name.
Obviously a player.
Yes. As we transition from the first tee over to the 10th tee, we want to again shout out Wintrust, the official bank provider of the CDGA, for their continued support over the last year or so. A newer partner to the association, but one that has had a big impact. So we appreciate their help as well. So as we continue to rotate between first tees here, and as we get into the weekend, today's round will be, as we mentioned, with the weather and the rain. Today's weather will necessitate a lift, clean, and place rule in effect throughout the round. So just want to make that note. Obviously, we will stay with the first and 10th tees, but lift, clean, and place in effect for the first round of the Adaptive Open.
Yeah, as we were talking about, I did get to play yesterday, and most of the golf course, I know I didn't have any mud balls anywhere. So most of the course is great. I think they're doing that just because of the 2 or 3 spots out there that are a little bit damp yet from the storms of Wednesday and Thursday. But the golf course is in terrific shape.
Yep. And speaking of weather, some nicer weather this year. It was quite warm last year for both rounds, so thankful to have some weather here in the mid 80s today, and then I think we'll get back into the 70s tomorrow for the final round. So enjoyable weather here. Finally cooperated in time for the actual rounds of competition.
Yeah, the people here at Fox Bend may have to fight a little bit harder overnight because we are expecting some rough weather late in the evening, and then tomorrow, as you said, it's supposed to be nice and lower humidities, lower temperatures, very comfortable for everybody.
Yep. So you see on your screen here in the red polo, we have Jared Fultz. He will be part of this group that features Justin Van Landuit and Vincent Beiser. So the second group off the 10th tee will shortly make their way to the tee box and get their round started.
Good players here too. Jarrett Fultz was our opening champion in the first year of the golf tournament back at Cog Hill a couple of years ago. He's an Arizonan from Queen City. First up is Justin Van Landuit. Justin and I actually played together in the Illinois State Am a few years ago. So he's a very good player, former golf course superintendent who was forced to retire when he contracted muscular dystrophy. So that is what Justin is facing. But he's been playing around the area all week, and he's a good player.
Yeah, currently calls Chaska, Minnesota home, but as you mentioned, has ties to the Chicago district here. So we appreciate him coming back to the area and competing. As Dan mentioned, Jared Fultz, inaugural overall champion of this event, will tee off next. Has cerebral palsy since birth, but has found a way to play a multitude of sports and has competed well across a lot of these adaptive championships across the country.
A lot of lag in that swing.
Yep. Lists the 2024 title as one of his favorite golf memories, in addition to the 23 Ohio Adaptive Open, as well as attending the practice round at the Masters this year. So a nice spring into summer start here for Jared.
Got a lefty as the third member of this group, yep. Vincent Beiser from Baltimore, Maryland.
Doesn't waste any time getting off the tee box.
Let's go.
We love that for pace of play. So nice to have Vincent here and getting his round underway. Seemed to like that tee ball. So,
all right. Before we continue, head back over to the first tee for more tee shots. We will step aside for a moment. Return in just a moment.
If your hair could talk, it would probably say, "Thanks for going to Great Clips." They had your haircut details saved in clip notes, so the stylist gave you a great low fade at a great low price. Oh yeah, this works. Take it from your hair. Take yourself to Great Clips. If your hair could talk, it would probably say, "Thanks for saving time on a haircut at Great Clips." You checked in on the app, and boom, clean fade accomplished. The only question now is where to go show it off. Take it from your hair.
unless they.
Back to the action here at Fox Bend. Getting ready for our third group off the number 1 tee. Also featuring a local player here, Luke Heiser, but we'll see in which order these competitors are teeing off.
Yeah, this group of Daniel Weissman from East Lansing, Michigan, Luke Heiser from here in Chicago, as well as Ryan Matthews from Anderson, Indiana. Another great partner and sponsor of the CDGA is Jersey Mike's. A sub above, as their mantra states, a great partner of the CDGA over the last few years. Dan Shanahan, a local guy and part of the partnership there as well. And you actually got to play with a Jersey Mike spokesman yesterday, Dan. Is that correct?
I did. I played with Dan Shanahan. We had a great time out there. Dennis Walters was also in our group, and we'll talk more about Dennis. He's bringing up the rear today. He's the final guy off the last tee, and probably the most famous of all disabled golfers. Yep. He's a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame, and we'll talk more about him as we move along. He's amazing, and so is his dog, Augustus.
Yep. And Dennis, a proud marketer and partner of Jersey Mike's as well. So.
You can see the flowers being battered around a little bit there. It's not the calmest of mornings so far. We'll see if the wind dies down as the day goes on, but they're facing a little bit of a breeze, especially on this hole, which heads from east to west. And in that regard, the wind is coming from the west, so they're pretty much right into it off this number 1 tee box.
So it does look like this will be Daniel Weissman to tee off first here. As part of this group, an East Lansing, Michigan native, was diagnosed with a childhood bone cancer called Ewing's carcinoma as a kid, and lists beating cancer as one of his other accomplishments outside of golf. So
that would be your biggest victory, yes. I would think.
Claims he got into golf at the age of 28. He's always played sports and loved competing, but came into golf a little bit later than some. Quite the swing there. Holds the follow through, and his ball is in play and his round is underway.
He did a great job at getting over on his left side there.
Yes.
Good golf swing. Very solid.
So again, Luke Heiser now, also a part of that Illinois Click Pearl Cup team, representing the state of Illinois.
He's also competing in Sports Class G3, which is golfers with impairments in both legs, which is the case, obviously, with him. But that's a great swing right there.
Great swing.
You know, this team competition began with Arizona not having anybody to play against and Illinois forming a team. So those two were going at it. And this year, 2 more states have been added. And who knows where this is going to go before it's all over with.
Right, and the last of this trio teeing off here is Ryan Matthews from Anderson, Indiana. Represented the U.S. team in Spain this summer, or is going to here as part of the Cairns Cup. Ryan born without his left arm and claims he doesn't have a disability in his mind, so quite the unique perspective on life when dealt a bad hand.
A lot of rhythm in that swing.
While we have a moment, we want to thank another one of our sponsors here, Imperial Headwear. A lot of merchandise has been purchased and sold from Imperial as part of the CDGA's marketing efforts, and you'll see a lot of the volunteers, staff, players this weekend wearing Imperial Headwear throughout the weekend. So I want to give a shout out to them as a great partner in providing some unique merchandise here throughout the weekend.
I might have an Imperial hat or 20 or 30 sitting around home.
As someone with a rather large head, I'm thankful that Imperial makes an XL version. So shout out to them for having us big-headed people covered, literally.
I'm standing right with you.
As you see on your screen there, some of the volunteers, it takes, as they say, a village to get this event put on and underway. And we have a multitude of volunteers helping us out in a variety of different areas, whether it's player assistance, distance measuring here in the clubhouse with food and things of that nature. So we'll shift over to the 10th tee here. We have the group of Jordan Thomas from Nashville, Tennessee, Josh Williams representing Canada, and Kyle Erickson from Minneapolis, Minnesota. You see there, Dan, as you mentioned, the 10th tee a little bit more strategic than the first as he gets a yardage and makes sure he's ready to get his round underway.
Yep, that's a pretty good hole, that number 10. Jordan Thomas won the Indiana Adaptive Open just in May. Mm-hmm. And here's a guy who shot 63, Tim, 8 different times. I mean,
yep,
that is playing.
As much as we like to promote the community aspect of this event, and that's a very important part of it, as we've mentioned, some of these players really have game, and I think Jordan is definitely in that category. As he waits to get his tee-ball underway, lists his favorite golf memory is twilight rounds with his dad as a kid, and I think a lot of us can partner and share in that sentiment as well.
He's got quite the backstory too. Jordan Thomas, winner of the Ellis Island Medal of Honor, the National Courage Award.
Part of the Nashville 30 under 30 as well. So seems like he's using his platform and his circumstance to his advantage and promoting adaptive golf and adaptive communities as well.
Also getting over to his left side very well, and it looked like he was happy with that one. The double amputees below the knee, balance is one thing you have to deal with. Another thing is the strength of your thighs and your quads and the hamstrings there. There's so much stress put on that part of your body without having any calf muscles or actual feet to help you out. And some of these guys' swings are amazing.
Another good one there. As the lefty Josh Williams from representing Canada gets his round underway. Hearing him yesterday here on the grounds discussing some of his connections to the Toronto area. So happy to have him here. And the last of this group is Kyle Erickson.
Swinging a bit of an oversized driver there, right?
Yep.
That thing looks like it's about 48 inches. Another quick pickup of the tee, and off that group goes.
Yeah, Kyle, most recent competition was a T5 in the Indiana Adaptive Open. So from Indiana to Chicago, he goes. As we continue to highlight some of our sponsors, I want to give a shout out to Great Clips here in the Oswego land area, providing some support of this event, not only in the way of funds and things of that nature, but was on site yesterday with some barber chairs and supplying some of the players with a quick trim or a haircut before the big weekend.
Yeah, right up there on the first tee. That was very nice.
Yep. I think our next individual to tee off here, Thomas Duffy,
one of our own.
One of our own, and took him up on that offer. So Thomas is looking good and getting ready for his opening round here. As Dan mentioned, a current intern of the CDGA, Thomas hails from Utica, Illinois, and golf isn't his only sport, Dan. He has played a lot of wheelchair basketball as well, played for the team in Illinois, and played for the U.S. under-23 team that played in Japan twice. So before we get to him, it's going to be Russell Aid of Tucson, Arizona, as you see on your screen. And then Corey Nichols from Swartz Creek, Michigan, is also part of this group.
Russell was born with some of his fingers fused and has had surgery to correct that. He recently played in his first year at the University of Arizona adaptive team. So he's one of the AZ crew playing in the team competition.
Yeah, Arizona kind of pioneered the adaptive golf team, and as you mentioned, was looking for other states to compete, and we're happy that Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan are part of that Click Pro Cup competition. As Russell gets his tee ball away, we welcome Chicago's own Luke Heiser to the tee. Or excuse me, Corey Nichols from Swartz Creek, Michigan. Corey, a member of the National Darts Hall of Fame.
How about that?
So not only a fairly well and skilled golfer here competing in this event, but former professional darts player. As you see Thomas Duffy there, get ready to get in position.
Thomas also sporting the orange, graduate of the University of Illinois, so he also is playing for the Illinois team here. Moving up a little bit. Anxious to see Thomas swing. I haven't seen him play. I know he's very good at it.
Yep. Competed in the U.S. Adaptive Open recently there at Woodmont Country Club out east and placed second in the seeded division. So happy to have him with us as the CDGA intern throughout the summer, but excited to see his play here this weekend.
He's a strong young man. He was telling me yesterday that he, as part of his internship, was helping out at a member day at Strawberry Creek up near Kenosha there, and got a chance to play that golf course this week. And as we said, strong young man.
Yes. Keeping an eye on it, but look like it's in play there. As you see his player assistant help him. Again, shout out to all the volunteers this weekend who get this event rolling and keeping pace and helping the players wherever needed. And speaking of help, we want to thank Grand Dental, a local dentistry here in the Chicagoland area, for their support of this championship. As you mentioned, a newer buy-in partner of this event, and we appreciate their willingness to support it this year. So as they walk down the first fairway, we're going to take a quick break before we head over to the 10th tee.
Three or 4 years ago, I noticed that my left hip was hurting. Someone personally recommended a doctor here in town who's with IBJI. Within 12 days, I was walking without a cane, without a walker, without anything, and without pain. That was a big thing.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute's top orthopedic experts help you move better, live better. For more information, visit IBJI.
We are back as the third annual Chicago Adaptive Open continues here at Fox Bend in Oswego, Illinois, on a beautiful day for golf.
Yeah, thankfully the weather gods have given us some good conditions, at least for both rounds of this championship. As we mentioned, some weather prior to this during the week, as well as some anticipated weather overnight. But great conditions for these players here, as we have our first group of 3 women to tee off here on the 10th tee. And it looks like it's going to be Kelly Valentine to get this group kicked off.
Kelly lives in McKean, Pennsylvania. Says her short game and putting are her strong suits because it's a matter of confidence, and she's a confident player. A breast cancer survivor, an amputee, and competing in our event and off and running here on day one.
Yeah, Kelly, after her amputation, her father said she should play tennis, and she said, actually, I'm going to play golf, and I'm setting a 2-year mark to beat you at some point. So, again, making the best of a difficult situation, as Cassie Single from Manassas, Virginia, looks to get her round underway. She was featured on the CDGA's Instagram yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out.
She was featured on NBA's Today Show talking about her disability, which is muscular dystrophy. I should say cerebral palsy, and that's a really good golf swing right there.
Yeah, got into golf just in 2020 and has started playing D3 golf at Christopher Newport University. So excited to have her here and testing her skills throughout the weekend. And Kim Moore, the final of this triumvirate here from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Went to college at the University of Indianapolis. Her low score is 67, which she shot as a collegiate player. Born without a right foot and a clubbed left foot, and a case of spina bifida. So battling through those obstacles and playing very well. Always been a big sports enthusiast and played basketball as well. Golf obviously is one of those sports, Tim, where you can get into it and you can play. And she has proven that. And 67, that's not too shabby.
For sure. As that group gets their round started, again, want to shout out Culver's, a fine local and Midwest establishment here in the Chicagoland area and abroad here. I want to thank them for their support provided some custard here for the players during the Pro-Am yesterday. I did partake in one, but held myself to one. So appreciate Culver's support of the Adaptive Open.
It's a good thing I didn't know that was happening. That's a sore spot for me. All right, we'll step aside one more time, a quick break, and return with more action from Fox Bend in a moment.
Every golfer wants more from the game. With a CDGA membership, you get a handicap index issued by the USGA, access to championship and social competitions, and trusted golf coverage that keeps you connected all season long. It's everything you need to play better and enjoy the game more. Learn more at cdga.org.
All right, heading back over to tee number 1 for the next group.
Looks like we have the trio of Jacob Jones, again, from another player from Swartz Creek, Michigan, John Sass from Star City, Indiana, and Matt Parker from Wakanda, Illinois. As you see, every year this event's gotten bigger. We've got more build out and signage, and this first tee, as we've mentioned, does feel kind of like a professional tournament. We've got the flags of some of the players represented, some of the booths here of some of our partners. We've got CGN hooked up here as well as a partner of this stream, and a multitude of signage here to represent all of the sponsors and advertisers that have helped to make this event possible. So it'll be Jake Jones to begin this group. And Dan, you mentioned quite the long hitter.
That's what we understand. I'm anxious to see Jake peg it up here.
Jake was on the USA development sled hockey team for 3 years and was simply born missing parts of his legs.
Kind of smoothed it out there that time. A good swing, and he's underway.
Yep, Jake is happily married with 3 boys who also all love to golf, and is working to launch an adaptive-focused YouTube channel. John Sass next up on the tee.
We asked the players if they've made a hole-in-one or had any accomplishments in golf that they're proud of. He says, hole-in-ones, he said, not yet.
I think he echoes the sentiment of a lot of us here. Is he was part of a motorcycle accident, a dirt bike accident, actually, in 2014 that gave him some spinal cord injuries and then had an amputation of his arm there in March of 2016. Started golfing as an outlet.
All right, Matt Parker is an Illinoisan, currently living in Wakanda, but a native of Lamont. Went to Lamont High School and the University of Iowa. Plays out at Hawthorne Woods. Also part of Team Illinois this week. Good follow through, quick pickup. And a good start for Matt Parker.
Yeah, states here that he has a rare autoinflammatory disease known as Still's disease, and would like to bring awareness to rare diseases and show others that life doesn't stop when diagnosed with a disease like that. And he's a great example of perseverance and finding outlets to deal with these difficult circumstances.
Yeah, that's I am not familiar with that particular affliction, but he said it causes severe arthritis. He has no range of motion in either wrist or his cervical spine, and also has some arthritic issues with fingers and shoulders. So he has found a treatment that's good for him. He's in remission to some degree, and he's out here competing with everybody else today. So we're happy to have him.
Yep. And as you see there, Home Depot, a proud sponsor of the Chicago Adaptive Open, a local location here just off the, I guess, with the back nine of this championship. So we appreciate Home Depot's support in putting on the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open. So this group will feature Jonathan Snyder from Westmont, Illinois, Carson Lane from Bloomingdale, Georgia, and Steve Mazzilli from Medford, New Jersey. Jonathan Snyder has played a big role in the adaptive golf community, works for the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance, has an office in our building there at Midwest Golf House in Lamont, and has been a huge asset in getting this adaptive golf program underway.
I talked with him for a minute yesterday. He said his game is in very good shape. So we're looking forward to seeing how John does this week. Also sporting the orange as a member of Team Illinois.
Yes, cites his favorite golf memories hitting the inaugural tee shot at the first U.S. Adaptive Open in Pinehurst with his wife as his caddy and his family watching. And a lot of people would be nervous to hit the first tee shot of a championship like that, but Jonathan got up there and striped it right down the middle. So we hope he can replicate that same result here.
He says he's given over 55,000 free adaptive golf lessons during his career as a golf professional and a coach in adaptive golf. 55,000 free lessons.
Yeah, I think that just speaks to the kind of person Jonathan is. If you, you mentioned you talked with him briefly yesterday, just a superb human being and someone that we're happy to be aligned with in adaptive golf and this championship as a whole.
Jonathan's made 4 holes in one, including one on his birthday a few years ago.
Quite the birthday gift. And a quality swing.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Carson Lane, the second part of this, will step up here. Carson has Erb's palsy and was born with the nerves in his left shoulder torn in half. He's since gained about 12 to 15% use of his left arm.
He uses his right arm to pretty good effect, really getting through that. And a big hitter right there. And you could see, again, happy with that opening tee shot.
Yep.
There at number 10. That's the maintenance shed behind there that we referenced in terms of the pile of debris that's next to it after the storms that went through here on Wednesday and Thursday. It's a big building, and that pile is unbelievable. And they cleared it all off between the hours of 4:45 yesterday morning and the time the first Pro-Am began yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So again, kudos to the grounds crew here who did some yeoman's work in a short period of time.
Absolutely. As Steve Mazzilli of Medford, New Jersey gets his round underway. Steve, an East Coast guy like myself, I actually grew up 20 minutes from Medford, New Jersey, so nice to see a fellow New Jerseyan competing in the field. I hear there was word he's got some Eagles branding on his prosthetic there, so happy to have another Birds fan in the field.
You two might be the only two.
But nice to see that group get their round underway. As we continue this morning, highlighting some of our partners and sponsors of this event, want to give a thanks to Floral Expressions and Gifts Incorporated for their help in making the first tee. As we mentioned, the first tee build out looking great this weekend, and they've supplied some of the flower arrangements for that. So we appreciate their support of the Adaptive Open, and I know the players do, in terms of making this feel important and professional as we can possibly make it. As they go down to 10th, we will shortly move over to the first and another trio of women about to get their round underway.
This group features another competitor with a backstory that is simply amazing. Amanda Cunha from Hawaii. She was born in Kazakhstan, adopted from there at 9 months by her parents who lived in Hawaii. She grew up in Oahu. She was the Hawaii Junior Golfer of the Year. She's a black belt in karate. I was on the range with her yesterday for a long time, and she has an impeccable swing.
Actually joined a junior development golf program as a child that was also attended by Michelle Wee, so crossed paths with one of women's golf's top stars here. And again, as you mentioned, just a tremendous story. Legally blind. She started losing her vision when she was 17 years old. Has a rare diagnosis of Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, a genetic mutation that destroys the optic nerve.
So she plays essentially through her peripheral vision. She has no central vision remaining. I watched her coach with her yesterday. I believe he was doing a lot more observing than coaching because she didn't look like she needed a whole lot of help.
She was actually, as we've mentioned, the University of Arizona adaptive team. She was actually the first adaptive golfer to receive an athletic scholarship at the University of Arizona and restart that program. It's the only college in the country actually to support adaptive golfers. She's also an RNA Golf Club scholar, and they pair you with an RNA member to be your mentor. So quite the personality, and we're excited to have Amanda here competing this week.
She'll have a long future in the game.
She lists on the player information form that driver and fairway woods are the strongest aspect of her game. So excited to see her get the ball rolling on this first round.
She was hammering some drives yesterday. Big swing from her. She's a short person, but a really big swing and a great follow through.
No doubt about that one. Quick tee pickup. As we'll move to Sophia Howard of Hudsonville, Michigan. Sophia, lefty with a prosthetic there on her right arm. The umbilical cord was wrapped around that arm when she was born, cutting off circulation to the hand and preventing its development.
Another incredible story. She was abandoned by her parents in an alley in China when she was 3 and then adopted by a loving family.
Happy to have Sophia here this weekend. And then lastly, Kelsey Cook of Grand Blanc, Michigan. Was born without a tibia bone, and his left leg was mounted above the knee at 9 months old. She also has over 50% hearing loss and lives every day with a colostomy bag.
She says with or without her disability, she would have been a golfer.
You know, Dan, a lot of people in the sports world like to cross off every MLB stadium or NFL stadium. Kelsey actually wants to cross off every WNBA arena before she dies. So a huge fan of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, Tom Izzo, herself, and her dad would be her dream foursome. So a unique skill set and interest level there from Kelsey.
I believe I've seen Caitlin Clark on a couple of dream foursome entries here. Yeah, she's
a rise in the recent years, you know, in terms of stardom.
Oh, yeah. She's gotten into golf pretty hard herself, playing in the Pro-Am with Nelly Korda down in Florida a couple of years. And, yeah, it's nice when these athletes, Caitlin Clark being one, Steph Curry another, kind of cross over into the game of golf. So many do, and it's always great to have them.
I want to thank Ally for their support of this third Chicago Adaptive Open here at Fox Bend. Appreciates their willingness to be part of this unique event, and shout out to Ally. This next trio of players to tee off over on 10 has some pretty interesting stories. This group of Robbie Donarski from Franklin, Wisconsin. We've got Andrew Austin from Charleston, South Carolina. And we've got Ricky Riley from Syracuse, New York. Donarski here will be the first to tee off, and Dan, his player information form is quite robust.
Yes, it is.
He claims that he plays an average of 180 holes of golf a week in the summer. I think dedicated to the game would be an understatement.
Plays 18 holes in the morning before he goes to work at 8:30. Works till 5, then stretch lift in the gym. Chipping for 90 minutes after that. The weekends, it's a 54-hole day for him.
He tripled majored in music performance, business, and accounting up in the Milwaukee area. He's an Eagle Scout, a CPA, and proposed to his fiance after running a triathlon together in 2025. So Donarski, just the epitome of making the best of a difficult situation.
That's so funny. He plays 54 holes a day on the weekend and then says, I'm obsessed with golf. Oh, really? No kidding.
I would venture to state that's a fact.
Born with cerebral palsy, and that's what he's battling as he competes here this weekend.
So we've got Andrew Austin here now, the lefty, as you see, with a prosthetic right arm. He calls Charleston, South Carolina home now, but hails from the suburban Philadelphia area. Andrew coaches middle school basketball and baseball teams.
Big left-handed swing. Has 3 brothers, and those 3 brothers would comprise his ideal foursome, so good for him.
I actually saw on Instagram the other day he had a nice round over at Marion Golf Club. So Andrew's no stranger to some nice facilities and courses as well.
So here's Ricky Riley, who picked up golf during COVID, said he really never thought much about it until that, and picked it up to have something to do. I'll tell you one thing. This guy was on that driving range yesterday for at least 5 or 6 hours. So he may have taken the game up late, but he loves it and is trying to get better all the time.
It stands at 4'5", but mentions he still hit bombs. He still hits bombs.
I tell you what, he got into that one.
Yeah. Happy to have Ricky here competing yet again. I believe Ricky's participated in all 3 of these iterations of the Adaptive Open now. And as you see there, a fist bump for, I don't know if that's a spectator of his own or someone there, but nice to see. Again, as you'll see throughout today and tomorrow as well, these competitors, while it is a competition, you will see high fives, fist bumps, clapping for the other competitors in their group, something that you don't really see at a lot of these elite amateur competitions. Want to give a shout out to DeWalt for their continued support of this event as well. providing some tools and things of that nature for helping get this championship set up and underway. And we appreciate their commitment to the adaptive golf community here in Chicago.
There's a better look at what you face on the 10th tee right there. Pretty hard dog leg to the left. Par 5, doable. But that creek, Tim, is right there in front of you.
Yep. As we swap back over to the first tee, this group of Charlie Dell from Oak Lawn, Illinois. We've got Tyler Cashman from Gold Canyon, Arizona, and Jimmy Masheri from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Dan, there's yet another orange polo representing that Illinois Click Pro Cup team. So Charlie putting on for the Illinois State and the Chicago District as well.
Just graduated high school. Plays at Stony Creek, where my good friend Tim Scott is the superintendent.
Yeah, briefly, a few tee times ago, we had Jonathan Snyder up on the tee box, and Charlie shouts out Jonathan as getting him into these clinics, as you mentioned, golf lessons and things of that nature. So wants to give a shout out to Jonathan for teaching him how to golf for nearly 7 years now. So that cross impact and community base that the adaptive golf community has is going strong.
Charlie's a big guy. He was born without his left arm and has, as you said, has been playing for 7 years now. Counts Jonathan Snyder as one of the members of his dream foursome, which is really cool.
Yep. Favorite golf memory, as you mentioned, just finished out his high school career, but ended his high school golf career with 3 birdies on senior night. So a nice way for Charlie to go out before moving on to the collegiate ranks.
Oak Lawn, Illinois, please welcome Charlie Dell.
Charlie last competed in the Arizona Adaptive Open back in December as part of the Arizona side of that Click Pro Cup competition.
An all-state bowler in high school, too. How about that?
Averaged a 215 this season, so yet another multi-sport athlete competing. Next on the tee is going to be Tyler Cashman, again from Gold Canyon, Arizona. Actually, I believe this is going to be Jimmy Masheri moving up to the first tee box here.
I think Tyler's about to come into the frame walking behind him. Tyler, I'm assuming, is part of the Arizona team.
Yeah, sounds like it. As you see there, him walking in the frame. So Tyler's a visually impaired golfer and has less than 5% vision in his eyes. So became the co-captain of his high school team by senior year. States that golf has taken over his world through blind and visually impaired competition. It's given him opportunities, friendships, and experiences he could have never imagined. So again, hearkening back to that community aspect that this adaptive golf space has cultivated over the last few years. Won the Vision Cup at TPC Sawgrass, quite the facility down there and just outside of Jacksonville, and represented Team North America there. So shared that experience with his grandpa, which he claims made it even more special. So nice to have some family there to watch him compete and also pull out the win. Tyler works for Golf Genius, which will be providing the live scoring this weekend, and is sponsored by Mizuno.
He says his strong suit is his tee ball. Tell you what,
I would agree with that.
That's pretty good right there.
Feels good with that one. Looking for a fist bump from the volunteer there, but I'm sure they'll get that figured out throughout the rest of the day. And as we mentioned, Jimmy Masheri here will be the final player of this trio to get underway. Jimmy again from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Also is another competitive wheelchair basketball player. Plays with the Mary Free Bed Pacers in the NWBA.
For the last couple of years, he was the #1 seeded golfer in America.
Yeah, it was part of a car accident that resulted in a complete spinal cord injury, so he's paralyzed from the waist down. Claims that the sport seemed impossible to get back into after that incident, but has made his way to, as you mentioned, the top ranks of the adaptive community. But want to give another shout out to Bionic here for their support of the Adaptive Open as well. They've been on site here this week, and we appreciate their presence and support of the event as a whole. Couple of Illinois guys in this group, Dan. We've got Michael Kame from Chicago, Matt Snowden from Annapolis, Maryland, and Phil Mack from Lake Forest, Illinois. Michael Kame getting his tee shot there. Born with his right foot was amputated as a newborn, so claims his driver is his biggest advantage, as a lot of people there, and seemed to be happy with his tee ball.
A very solid swing.
Yep. Next up will be Matt Snowden from Annapolis, Maryland. Another lefty.
We haven't seen a lot of angst on these tee balls, have we? Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of piping it right down the middle.
And lastly, Phil Kamak will be the last to tee off here. He was diagnosed with congenital venous abnormality from birth. And it was an incorrect diagnosis, so at some point his right leg swelled up to twice its normal size. Underwent a radical treatment called catheter-directed thrombolysis. Included 17 stent implants. Representing the Imperial Headwear that we've been giving out this weekend, so we appreciate Phil's participation in the event again from just north of the city in Lake Forest. As these three get their round underway, we will return here shortly back on the first tee, but first, a quick break.
Every golfer plays a different course, different tees, different conditions. That's why the Handicap Index exists. It measures a golfer's demonstrated ability, allowing players of different skill levels to compete on a fair and level playing field anywhere they play. It turns every round into a meaningful score and every match into a fair one. Get yours with a CDGA membership at cdga.org.
Back live here at Fox Bend Golf Course in Oswego, Illinois for the third Chicago Adaptive Open presented by IBJI. Just about the halfway point here, Dan, in the first round of tee times.
Almost halfway through. We should be wrapping up play for today at around 4 o'clock or so, maybe a little bit sooner than that. And then tomorrow, I think we'll be going off a little bit earlier. But I think tee times begin at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep. We should be on air, like as you mentioned in the intro there, probably 11:30 to noonish Central Time here.
Yeah, and tomorrow, again, will be more of a traditional golf telecast. We'll be following the leaders around the golf course, and we'll bring you the finish. It was quite the wrap-up last year with the playoff and a lot of people in contention heading down to the wire. We'll also bring you all the champions of the different classifications of disability as well. So a busy day coming up tomorrow. And we hope you'll join us on the stream.
Cool to see there some of the photos being taken on the first tee. A lot of these players like to commemorate these events with photos and things of that nature. So here we go with another one here in front of these CDGA letters, which are a new part of the sign out, or the build out, excuse me, and the signage there on the first tee. So,
did you have a hand in putting that thing together?
I did not. It's the brainchild of Mike Gilligan on our staff. We had them for the Chicago Golf Show earlier this year, and they're put on there just for that exact reason, right? They're a nice photo opportunity, get some of the CDGA branding there. But shout out to our interns and staff internally who were able to put that together there for the first tee.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going over there and trying to pick it up from one end and seeing how heavy it actually is. It looks very heavy.
Thankfully, it's in a few pieces, so easier to transport. But this group here, we've got Will Faulkner from Parker, Colorado. He's going to be the first to play. Will, he lives out in Colorado, but was born in Glen Ellen, nearby Glen Ellen. So a return to the Chicago area and a huge Chicago sports fan. Funny note here by Will, claims his last competition was his Arizona Adaptive Open and would have provided the result, but his finger got tired from scrolling that far. So
he was down the list.
A jokester from Will there, and we appreciate him being here this weekend.
Glen Ellen native.
Yes. Next up, James Pendergrast here from Chicago, born with spastic diplegic cerebral palsy. Has the nickname of Turtle, in which he got from playing high school football here in the area.
He played for one of the best over at Montini Catholic, played on a state championship team there. Most of the football players who go through Montini have played on a state championship or two. One of the solid programs here in the state of Illinois.
And we've got David McCready here from Brownsburg, Indiana. I believe David is part of that Click Pearl Cup team as well from Indiana. Dan was in a single car accident in 2007. He fell asleep at the wheel and hit a guardrail, flipped his car, and he actually drug himself out and attempted to get help. Was found by somebody who was actually turkey hunting in the early morning hours, and he spent a month and a half in hospitals. So we're thankful that he made it through that ordeal and is here competing at Fox Bend. And speaking of Fox Bend, again, just want to thank the staff here at Fox Bend Golf Course for allowing us to utilize this facility yet again this year. I know the players have raved about the conditions, the layout, and we appreciate them. This isn't just a 2-day event. It's quite the build-up, and utilizing their facilities and giving up the golf course on a busy summer weekend. We're super appreciative of their supports of the CDGA and the adaptive golf community.
Yeah, this is really a good facility for an event like this. Not only the golf course being as good as it is, but the practice areas, uh, the practice tee is very wide, and there's plenty of room for everybody to fit in. They have a great practice chipping and putting area over there, and practice greens as well. So yeah, this has really turned out to be a great partnership, and as we pointed out, it will continue for the next few years and hopefully beyond that.
As we return to the 10th tee here, and Morton Grove, Illinois' own Brian Liston. Brian participates in a lot of the adaptive programs here within the Chicago district, a friend of the association, and looking forward to see how he competes this weekend. Brian getting himself lined up here for his tee ball.
Yeah, he's waiting. He must be thinking he's going to pound one down there into the next group.
And again, as you mentioned, a bit of a dog leg here on 10, so just making sure his landing area is clear before he tees off. Again, just waiting for the go-ahead to get Brian's first round underway, and as he acknowledges the crowd here.
That's Brian for you right
Yeah.
there. He's quite a character. Good swing.
Great swing. Next up is Albie Schoenfelter from Silver Spring, Maryland. Rocking the old style cap there. Again, another character and quite the story here. He's lived with multiple neuro conditions, and says that signals from his brain to his body often don't come through to fire in the proper sequence. So says he's done thousands of reps on balance boards to enable him to golf as well as he does.
4 different brain surgeries.
Thankful to be playing some good golf, and credits the adaptive golf community as a breath of fresh air and a continuous power source for him to plow through and achieve things that even shock his oncologist. I'll be a author as well. He has a book called Be Strong, Be Well, Be Kind, The Battle-Proven Path to Reclaim Your Life from Chronic Pain, Illness, and Other Conditions, and has become a bestseller in 7 countries. And the last of this group is Mariano Tubio, who hails from Argentina. Mariano just sustained a spinal cord injury from a car accident while traveling in southern Argentina in 2008. Another individual who took up the game prior to his accident and has kept with that competitive spirit post incident. Mariano notes that he has 2 kids, Felipe, who is 7 years old, and Delfina, who is 10 months old, and adds he is not currently sleeping very well. So I'm sure it's nice to get away and into the States here for a nice trip. Want to give a shout out here to Nadler Golf for providing some golf carts here, a local business, helping us get carts for our assistants and our volunteers and some of our communications staff and the CDGA staff as a whole. So a long partnership with Nadler Golf, and we appreciate their support. And with that, we're going to take a quick break before we return to the first tee.
At Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, orthopedic care is what we do. It's all we do. With decades of experience, our physicians, surgeons, and therapists deliver personalized care for bones, joints, muscles, and more. And when injuries happen, our Ortho Access walk-in clinics are here to help. From diagnosis to rehab, IBJI is your trusted partner for complete orthopedic care.
Welcome back to Fox Bend Golf Course in Oswego, Illinois, here at the first round of the 3rd Chicago Adaptive Open, presented by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. We're back here on the first tee as we await the grouping of Todd Mannion from Greensfield, Indiana. We've got Dawson Thompson from Pascagoula, Mississippi, and Max Togasala from Grand Junction, Colorado.
It's really great to see, Tim, all these different states represented. Not all these states have an adaptive association. Sure, there are more and more coming online as time goes by. But tournaments like this, and there are several others around the country, of course, the U.S. Adaptive Open as well, really offer such a great opportunity for these guys and ladies to get out here and compete, enjoy each other's company, have a great time.
Yeah, we when the CDGA and the association started getting this idea of adaptive golf underway, it was mentioned in some of our research and travel to other championships like this, that this community will travel, as you said, and it's nice to see a lot of different states represented, and all these people want is to compete and be part of a community and an event like this. So we're proud to put that on, as it looks like Todd Mannion, again from Greensfield, Indiana, is going to be the first to lead this group off. Todd suffered severe heat stroke a while back, and we're appreciative of him competing this weekend. Todd is a 12-time Indiana Special Olympics champion, so no stranger to the spotlight.
Took a long look at that one.
Next on the tee from Pascagoula, Mississippi, please welcome Dawson Thompson.
As you heard, Dawson Thompson now getting his first round underway from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Picked up the game when he was 12, grew up playing baseball his whole life, and decided to give golf a chance. And as many of us have, fell in love with the game immediately. Notched a first hole-in-one just last year. And in his free time, enjoys deer and duck hunting and going on the boat. Another keeping an eye on that one there, as Dawson's ready to go. Max Togasala from Grand Junction, Colorado is going to be the last here to tee off.
Max says his disability is, I'm shy.
Yeah, you get a lot of good answers in these player information forms. And some notes to the broadcast team here. Max notes that he likes to put Doritos in his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Not sure if that's something I would partake in, but to each their own, right, Dan?
He said his game strength is club throwing. So we better hope he hits a good one on this first hole.
Yeah. Max again competed here last year as well, and placed pretty high in his sports classification. So happy to see him back and competing this year. As you see some carts out there in the fairway, just making sure with this forward tee for the seated players that he's got enough room to tee off and get underway.
Max is in the sport class G10, which is players with active trunk control and dynamic sitting balance, but no standing balance. I mean, some of these categories are very disability specific, and this would be one of those. But we see a lot of these carts around this week, and a lot of players employing them, and it's just a godsend for this sport. As you see Max whack one out there down the first tee. First fairway, should be in pretty good shape.
Driver back slotted in the bag, and his first round is underway. I want to give a shout out to Christina's Grill and Gatherings for their support of the event here. We appreciate their support and helping to make this event such a success.
Spent a little time up at Christina's myself yesterday.
Yeah, here on site at Fox Bend. Providing some libations and some food here for the players. So,
yeah, this is absolutely a full service facility. The restaurant's very good. And as we've been pointing out all morning, the golf is also very good.
As we return to the 10th tee, it's going to be the group of Rob Hanley from Escondido, California. We've got Owen Wills from New Lenox, Illinois, and Mike Sampson from Highland Park, Illinois. Rob Hanley is going to be the first to start here. We've talked about dream foursomes here, and Rob, a proud father, states that his dream foursome would be caddying for his 4 kids. So his kids are 11, 10, 8, and 2, and they are his pride and joy.
Another solid swing. We've seen some really good golf swings this morning.
Yeah, lost both legs before the below the knee, at 6 years old, related to a birth defect. But happy to have Rob here in the Chicago area as we go to Owen Wills from New Lenox. Was involved in a tragic accident with a riding lawnmower. Seems happy with that one.
Another terrific swing.
Owen, just 15 years old. And Mike Sampson here, Dan, from the North Shore up there in Highland Park.
You know, Mike turned in a cool 65 at Winnetka Golf Club.
Yeah, in August a few years ago after the renovation. So a good ball from him. A series of back injuries have just caused, he says, his back to go numb, honestly. And we're appreciative of him competing here this weekend. and battling through those circumstances. Again, just a Chamber of Commerce morning here, Dan, in terms of weather and bright blue skies, some comfortable temperatures. We've talked about the wind's been up just a little bit, but it seems like we've been dealt a solid hand here this weekend. Also want to thank First Place Rental for providing the lifts and TV scaffolding, as you see there. CGN, our partner here in putting on this stream. Josh standing there on one. We've got another individual here on the lift, providing some aerial coverage, some high up shots, and they'll be utilized probably a little bit more tomorrow in that more traditional broadcast on Sunday. So thankful for them for First Place Rental and providing the lifts, the scaffolding, and just providing these unique angles for our camera operators and CGN. So thank you to First Place Rental.
Heading back over to the first tee, Andreas Brandenberger from San Diego will be first to tee off here. Andreas is a native of Lawrence, Kansas, graduated from KU in 2010. Southern California Adaptive Championship, May 26th, just a month or so ago, won his division. Said he'd like to play golf with Tiger, Michael, and Patrick Mahomes.
All pretty good golfers in different sports there. He's currently training to run a 50-mile trail race. So no stranger to physically tasking events. His golf journey, he mentions he saw a guy who looked like him in a news clip and said he could do all the things that he was already doing and said he could golf. So they showed his swing and he was immediately inspired. So again, as we mentioned, Dan mentioned earlier, the public and spectators are welcome to come out, and we hope that some of these stories inspire others to get into this great game that we all know and love.
I had a long visit with Andreas last year. He had a rough ride. You see, he tucks the club into his left armpit, and that's most of his swing is done with his body, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He said high temperatures are really what affects him in a negative way because of perspiration. He said the club slips so much for him, he has a tough time controlling it when the temperatures are really warm. So it's pretty steamy out there today. We're probably touching 80 degrees right now, but tomorrow's supposed to be a bit cooler. I know he struggled with that last season because it was so warm during the tournament, and he's hoping for a little cooler this time around.
Yep.
Great guy.
As you mentioned, raised in Kansas, but was born in Athens, Greece. So yeah, as you mentioned, I remember last year, difficult conditions with how hot and humid it was, and hopefully he's got a better situation this year. Kept an eye on that one, but appears to be in play, and Andreas is off and running.
Hear a lot about Bryson DeChambeau's clubs being all the same length. Andreas clubs are all the same length, just like that, because they all have to be tucked beneath his armpit there.
We've got Steve Hewsome from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Steve was in a horrific motorcycle accident where he lost his right leg below the knee and severe damage to his left leg and right arm. He was told he would never walk again, let alone play golf. And 18 months of rehab took him to get back onto the course. And we're happy to have Steve here competing in the Chicago Adaptive Open. And last in this group is Brock Leitner from Canada. Brock used to race motocross and supercross professionally across all of North America before a spinal cord injury. He was a big golfer before his accident. He played a lot, and as we mentioned, before accidents, got as low as a 4 handicap. But when he got hurt, there was one thing he didn't want to give up, and that was the game of golf. As Brock gets set up.
Yep, one of many players using a volunteer player assistant this weekend.
As we said, super appreciative of these player assistants and helping these players compete.
That one's airborne.
Airborne and in play. As we continue to highlight our sponsors and promoters of this event, want to give a thanks to Vester Capital Investment and Wealth Management for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open. Just one on a long list of people who have made this such a success and getting this off the ground, and we appreciate their support of adaptive golf and the Chicago Adaptive Open. We're going to go over to the 10th tee now, as we've got the trio of Carl Cook from Fairfax, Virginia, Alan Gentry from Louisville, Kentucky, and Jake Olson from Jacksonville, Florida. So Carl's going to get us started here. Carl has Parkinson's disease and was diagnosed 10 years ago. Got serious with competitive tournaments around 2020 and has enjoyed the game since his his teenage years.
Former naval aviator. Loves to fly, loves to race cars.
Dream foursome of Bobby Jones, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson.
Not a bad crew.
So we're going to have Alan Gentry here again from Louisville, Kentucky, next to tee it up. Was in a fluke accident at a private consulting firm. His jacket sleeve was snagged and twisted backward around the auger, completely disconnected his elbow. Appreciate Alan's participation here. And next up is going to be Jake Olson from Jacksonville, Florida. And quite the story for Jake here as well.
Another player playing with visual impairment. Lost his eyesight to retinoblastoma, which is a rare childhood cancer of the eyes. He lost his left eye at 1 year old and his right eye as a 12-year-old.
Despite the disability, actually appeared in games for the University of Southern California as the long snapper. A lot of people might recognize him from his days playing there. Has started a golf content channel called Blind Birdies. So Jake, a multiple-time participant of this event, and we're happy to have him back. You mentioned the retinoblastoma. His one-year-old son Rowan and his wife Audrey are here for the event. His son Rowan is went through his own battle with retinoblastoma, and his dad, who's on the bag here, helping him get his round underway as he tees off. Actually grew up on Fox Bend here, mowing the grass and moving the holes. So a bit of a homecoming for Jake and family. As we continue to highlight our sponsors, want to give a shout out to Party People Audio and Video. We have a big video board there just off the 18th green that's going to be showing some of the scoring throughout the weekend, and we appreciate their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open as well. As Jake and crew get their round underway, we will be taking a quick break and we'll return from the first tee.
Golf in Chicago is more than a game. It's a legacy, one that connects generations, builds character, and brings people together. For more than 110 years, the Chicago District Golf Association has protected the game and expanded who gets to play it. Because golf isn't just about the score, it's about the people. Learn more at cdga.org.
Back here at Oswego, Illinois, and Fox Bend Golf Course. CDGA's Tim Merrick, along with Dan Roan, live from inside the booth as we are with the first round of the third Chicago Adaptive Open, presented by IBJI. Dan, right around 3/4 of the way through these opening round tee times, and just some remarkable stories of some of these competitors, and incredible privilege of highlighting the work that they've put in to get to a championship like this.
Absolutely, Tim. And we're about to hear about another couple of young ladies here who have gone through the drill to get here.
Yeah, this group of Daniela Belford from New Zealand. We've got Amy Bockerstedt from Phoenix, Arizona. We've got Deborah Smith from Rockford, Illinois.
Daniela is autistic. She's Samoan from South Auckland, New Zealand. She's the youngest ranked adaptive golfer in the country. Neither of her parents played. She kind of picked it up like many people did during the COVID lockdown. And says her strength of game is most definitely her putter.
As we've mentioned a lot over the broadcast so far, a lot of people pointing to the big stick and not the flag stick, or the flat stick, excuse me. So interesting to hear that she points to the putter in her short game as a strong suit. We wait for these players to get up here for the forward tee set. I want to thank Imagination Print and Design for their support of the Adaptive Open here this weekend. As you see, there are some promo products, printing, graphic design, custom apparel. We're appreciative of their support of the adaptive golf community and the Chicago Adaptive Open.
Somebody's trying to get this this crew in gear and get them up to the box and get them out there.
Looks like Daniela is going to be the first to lead this group off. Daniela going through her preparation here. Quality swing there, keeping an eye on it. Looks to be down that right side, but touchdown in the fairway. And Dan, we've got Amy Bockerstedt competing here. Some may remember her from a instance back in 2019. Amy was with Gary Woodland at the 16th hole there at the WM Phoenix Open. Actually made par in that hole with Gary. So happy to have Amy here. I know a lot of people may remember her from back then. And Amy started playing the game when she was 14 years old. She played high school golf. She played at a community college there in Phoenix on the women's golf team. She plays the piano and likes to perform in theater, dance, and other items. And lastly, Deborah Smith from Rockford.
And I remember that sand shot that Amy hit in that event with Gary Woodland at one of the most intimidating holes in golf, the 16th.
Yep.
There at TCP or TPC Phoenix. Man.
As Deborah gets underway, she had an elective amputation in 2015 after decades of surgery stemming from a tragic accident in 1981. To learn more about her story, she points people to deborahsmith.com. Deborah partakes in adaptive sailing, running. She likes to take walks and enjoy time with her children and grandchildren. And she became the first person in 2023 to actually model with a disability in the annual PGA show down there in Florida. So happy to have Deborah here, and happy to have the support of the Oswego Area Chamber of Commerce. As we've mentioned throughout the telecast so far, appreciative of the Oswego Land Park District, the community of Oswego for rallying around this event here at Fox Bend. A multitude of vendors and partners from the area have helped and chipped in. So this area is welcomed this event with open arms, and the CDGA and adaptive golf community are as thankful as ever for their help.
We head back over to the par 5 10th hole. You've got the 1045 crew, Marty Neal of Libertyville, Bryce Holcomb from Quincy, Illinois, and then Brian Warner from Westfield, Indiana.
Marty Neal states here that after Sunday's final round, he is boarding a flight to Ireland to compete in the Society of One-Armed Golfers' 87th World Championship out there in Cork, Ireland. So we wish him the best in his travels and competition. But first, the Chicago Adaptive Open, as he gives a thumbs up to the camera on that drive. I believe our next participant here is Bryce Holcomb.
He's one of our Down syndrome players, currently living in Quincy, Illinois, and playing on a golf course there that I played a lot on when I was a kid, Westview.
Well, actually,
public facility there in Quincy.
Looks like Brian Warner is going to be the first to tee off here, as we have some shifting within some of the tee times. Brian from Westfield, Indiana. Looks like a prosthetic right leg there for Brian. Seems to be happy with that one. A solid swing there. Again, as you mentioned, with the weight shift, it's super impressive to see those swings. As we move up to the forward tee there, it looks like we might have Price teeing off from up here.
Price's dad is a PGA golf professional. So he's been around the game his whole life. Won a gold medal in Special Olympics World Games Berlin in 2023, playing on a unified team with his dad.
We've got Quincy represented. He's been to Berlin. He shouts out the University of Alabama as a Roll Tide in terms of his interesting facts and hobbies. So quite the eclectic background here for Bryce. Teeing it up here with a yellow ball.
Oh, boy. Good swing.
Good swing, good follow through. And played fast. So we appreciate Price being here as he gets a fist bump there from his caddy, and their round is underway.
That caddy looked like it might be his pop.
Yeah, probably. As
I
you
think
said,
it was.
PGA professional, and I'm sure it'll help to have him on the bag as they get their first round underway. But before we head back over to the first tee, we're going to take another quick break.
Every great golf story starts somewhere. With a CDGA youth membership, kids under 18 get access to affordable rounds at participating courses and opportunities to learn, play, and grow through the game. It's more than golf. It's confidence, character, and lifelong skills. For over 110 years, we've helped pass the game forward. Learn more about youth membership at cdga.org. Every great golf story starts.
Heading back over to the first tee as we begin to wind down our coverage from this morning. We're only a few groups away from having everybody out on the golf course. So back to the first tee, Dan Schlater, Nathan Clapper, and JD Packlin as you can give that one a try. JD's playing games with us. He would not give a pronunciation on his information sheet. So I'm sure I butchered that in every single way possible.
Yeah, apologies to JD, but I think 2 letters of a first name was enough for us to.
Hello, JD.
Yes. Before JD gets us underway here as part of this group, or Dan Schlatter, excuse me, want to give a shout out to Big Tent Events for their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open here. A couple tents here by the Fox Benz Clubhouse as part of our 9 and Dine yesterday, our Pro-Am, supplying food for the players, a good gathering place as these rounds finish up and pre-round as well. So appreciative of Big Tent Events for their support.
The tents were under serious duress there for a while on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yep, but
when the weather came through.
They've held their ground, but we'll transition over to Daniel Schlatterer from Dunwoody, Georgia, who's a former orthopedic trauma surgeon who claims he now plays better as a one-handed player versus a two-handed player. Daniel's a classic car enthusiast and a medical device inventor with 20-plus patents. Again, another just story of unique and unique skill sets, and happy to highlight Daniel as part of the field this week.
Here's Nathan Klepper playing in G14, short status. Plays the saxophone, digital keyboard.
Speaking of saxophone, lists his dream foursome as Jack Nicklaus, Craig Stadler, and the one and only Kenny G.
Man, good rip.
Best of luck to Nathan as he gets underway.
Pretty good club head speed there for Nathan.
And lastly is going to be JD, Pakladinas.
Yeah.
JD, as he's become affectionately known. JD from Farwell, Michigan, excuse me. Huge sports fan, and as we've mentioned before, a couple of other players have gotten to go down to a little club in Augusta for the Masters. So enjoyed going to the Masters 2 years ago with his parents. As he moves up to the 4 Ts, I want to thank Klingon, Callow, and McLean LLC, their attorneys and counselors, for their support of the event. A new sponsor this year, and we're happy to have them on board and supporting the adaptive golf community here at Fox Bend. Recently competed in the Michigan Amputee Golf Championship back in July, where he finished in second place. Just tee shots away. Sporting the American flag bag there after the U.S. national team's victory last night.
A lot of conversation around the golf course about that game last night. The most goals the American team has ever scored in a single World Cup match.
Nice,
4-1 win over Paraguay.
Nice start to the competition for those guys.
Back over to 10 momentarily to visit with Matthew Gang, Dan Dietrich, and Kenny Gentile.
Before we head over there, I want to thank Focus Consulting Group Incorporated for their support of this championship event. A newer partner this year as well, and we appreciate their willingness to support the Chicago Adaptive Open. As this group here on the 10th tee is going to consist of Matthew Gang of Oakton, Virginia, Dan Dietrich of Schaumburg, Illinois, and Kenny Gentile of Angola, Indiana. As the players go over some housekeeping items there with Killian Casson from the CDGA staff. Making sure everything's all squared away, whether it be live scoring or some of the, as we mentioned, lift, clean, and place in effect here today. Just making sure these players are aware of everything going on as they get their rounds underway.
Yeah, lift, clean, in place may be the case again tomorrow too. If the predicted weather blows through here late tonight, as expected, they don't need a whole lot more rain in this part of the state for a while anyway. 6 inches of rain over the last couple of weeks. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, and again, as we've stated and will continue to hearken on, just a great job by the maintenance crew here at Fox Bend, the staff, and getting this course playable and in great shape for these competitors this weekend. It's a total team effort, and we're super appreciative of their hard work in order to get this cleaned up and ready for these competitors. Again, this is going to be the 10:55 tee time here, so just some final housekeeping items, as we mentioned, but coming up here on the last few tee times of this first round of the third Chicago Adaptive Open. Again, this group of Matthew Gang from Oakton, Virginia, Dan Dietrich from Schaumburg, Illinois, and we've got Kenny Gentile from Angola, Indiana, although his lists his hometown as Westmont, Illinois. So coming back to the Chicago district for that. But first, Matthew Gang. Pretty swing there from
Yeah.
Matthew.
Well done.
As Dan Dietrich from Schaumburg will get his first round underway. A tip of the cap, regardless there of where that tee ball went. Nice to see Dan.
Looked like he got a lot into that one. Kenny Gentile, Angola, Indiana. Classic rock and roll buff. 3 aces to his credit, even though he's playing with a severe visual impairment, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was diagnosed finally, began to lose his vision, as you said, in his 20s, and was diagnosed with a retinal disorder in the late 90s. So he's lost his central vision and relied heavily on his peripheral, as we've mentioned a few other competitors here this morning dealing with the same circumstances. Currently in a battle with prostate cancer since 2024 and has his next test in July to let him know if he's beaten it. And Kenny wants to remind all men specifically not to neglect their PSA tests. So we wish Kenny the best in his continued battle. Solid swing there for Kenny. As we've mentioned, some other dream foursomes, he lists Payne Stewart, John Daly, and Alice Cooper is filling out his dream foursome. So quite the set of personalities there, but we wish Kenny the best. As we transition over back to the first tee, we want to shout out Altair with their Wealth Guidance for Life. Just appreciative of their support of the Chicago Adaptive Open now in its 3rd iteration, as this sponsor and marketer group continues to grow, and the assistance from these groups allows us to put on an event of this magnitude. So super appreciative of Altair and their support.
This is the 11 a.m. start time off the number 1 tee. First on the tee from Denton, Texas, please welcome Samuel Paw.
As you heard there, Samuel Paws, the first to tee off from this group, competing in the one-arm unassisted group.
Samuel has a military background. He was in the Air Force, retired from the Department of Defense, works until just he's working until December, about to retire from Marathon Pratt Whitney. Had a stroke several years ago. That's his disability. Was a very good player at scratch until the stroke, and getting his game back together, as you can see right here.
Yeah, appreciative of Samuel being here, and just want to, again, reiterate we're appreciative of his service there as a retired Air Force veteran.
Next on the tee from Hermitage, Pennsylvania, please welcome Jim Tabeka.
Jim Tabeka here, as you heard, from Hermitage, Pennsylvania. Competing in his first Chicago Adaptive Open, so welcome, Jim. Sustained a spinal cord injury in an automobile accident at the age of 20. Golfed before his injury, but states that he hits it straighter now post-injury.
He says of his game, the best is yet to come, which
Quite
is the attitude we all should
Yes.
have, right?
Yep. And then last in this group is going to be Larry Solano from Chandler, Arizona. Another veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. Larry was injured in the invasion of Panama in 1989. He's a Purple Heart recipient. and jumped with the 82nd Airborne Division.
Currently the president of the U.S. Seated Golfers Association.
Larry has twin daughters with special needs, and as we've mentioned, these tournaments allow him to be a much better dad. So appreciative of Larry's role in the adaptive community, as well as his participation in the Chicago Adaptive Open for yet another year.
Interesting with Larry, he didn't start playing until after his injury in 2001. He made his first hole-in-one. He has one. He made it before he made his first birdie.
Wish I could say the same, but
So I guess it was all downhill after that.
Yeah, you just hang the sticks up after that. As Larry gets himself into position here. We've talked about Dreams Foursome so far, and Larry actually mentions a couple members of this championship itself. He mentions Andreas Brandenberger, Andrew Austin, Cody Conover, and Chad Pfeiffer as his Dream Foursome. So there you go, Larry. Way to get it underway.
Pretty happy with that one.
Having some fun. That's what it's all about, right?
There you go.
As you see there, Larry in a special cart for seated players. We want to thank a company that produces some of these carts as well, Verticat, for their support and help in making our seated players and some of the various carts available for them for this weekend. Appreciative of that, and a big player in the space. So happy to have them involved here in the Chicago district.
Got a couple of Illinoisans in our next group as we move back over to number 10. Reed Solzberger from Coal City, Illinois. Bradley Schubert from McHenry. And then joining them will be Sean Collins out of Lakewood, Ohio.
Coming down to the end of these first round tee times. This is the second to last group off the 10th tee. As you mentioned, Dan, a couple of local Illinois guys, and then Sean Collins from Lakewood, Ohio.
Yeah, Reed is one of our youngest competitors, only 16 years old. Graduates from Coal City High School in 2029.
Speaking of school, lists himself as a straight A student, so good to hear Reed is doing good in not only in the classroom but also the golf course as well. Points to his consistency as a one of his strong suits. Usually be able to stay down the middle and out of trouble to avoid penalty strokes. So this group on the tee, just a short wait here as the group ahead looks to get their second shots underway on the 10th.
Good par 5. Tomorrow, I think we'll probably get the opportunity to see a little bit more of the golf course. This one, a dogleg left, par 5, green well guarded by bunkers. Fun hole to play. If you get one out there, you have a chance to get on the green in 2.
Yes. As Dan mentioned, second round tomorrow. Tee times are going to begin at 8 o'clock. We'll get more into that here as the broadcast comes to an end. But first, Reese Sulzberger.
I'd say that's putting everything into it right there. Good for Reed.
Yep. Good to get off to a good start here. And I want to take a moment to highlight Bradley Schubert. Again, another major player in the adaptive golf space here, specifically in Illinois and the Midwest. Is the president of the Midwestern Amputee Golf Association. He's part of the trustees of the National Amputee Golf Association as well. Notes that he's currently in kidney failure and is in the process of getting a transplant from a fellow amputee golfer. So this speaks to the community, Bradley's role within it. Appreciative of him being here and playing in the Adaptive Open as well, and the work that he's put in here in the Chicago district as well. As Sean Collins moves up here to the forward tee as part of one of those seated carts. Suffers from cerebral palsy. He's been playing golf for 58 years. He's been playing seated for the last 7 due to balance issues. Sean, no stranger to competitive tournaments, has been playing seated for the last 7 years and has been playing in tournaments for the last 7 years as well.
"58 years is a lot of golf."
Finished in 3rd place in the Minnesota Adaptive Open back in September of last year. So definitely a name to keep an eye on here as the weekend progresses. Sean's tee ball is away, as is his first round. And we return to the first tee.
This will be the final group at the number 1 tee. It consists of Tom Smurr from Chicago, Henry Steinken from Mount Prospect, and Roger Johnson from Collinsville, Virginia.
This is the 11:10 a.m. start time off the number 1 tee. First on the tee from Chicago, Illinois, please welcome Tom Smurr.
Tom Smurr here was born with his left femur never fully grown in. Therefore, he doesn't have the top half, including the ball joint going into his hip. Stability with his left leg is a little difficult during the swing. Appearing in his first Chicago Adaptive Open. Many of his friends play golf, and it felt like a dad-tivity to work on with his little free time, as he's the dad of a 6-year-old Michael. And as we mentioned earlier, another one of those people that Jonathan Snyder helped get into this adaptive golf space. So excited to have Tom here this weekend.
Nicely done there.
Illinois, please welcome Henry Steinken.
Dan, quite a story here for Henry Steinken from Mount Prospect. Used to be a 2-handed player and has adapted to become a 1-handed golfer over the last few years. Home course of Lakeshore Country Club, but quite a freak accident there while he was caddying.
Yeah, struck in the head by a golf ball, hit him in the right temple, and paralyzed the left side of his body. So his left hand is not available for golf swing. Tell you what, though, it's pretty solid with his right hand.
Yep. Yeah, I was told he would may never walk again after the injury, and he set a goal to not only get back on his feet, but also return to golf. So
it's pretty great. He works at Shirley Ryan Ability Lab down in Chicago and helps individuals that have disabilities every day. So he is most definitely giving back. Happy to be here like all the other competitors are here this weekend at Fox Bend.
last participant in this group is going to be Roger Johnson from Collinsville, Virginia. Roger was born with cerebral palsy, and his mother was given an epidural shot, and it actually reversed itself. So, living with cerebral palsy, helping to start an adaptive golf membership at a course in Martinsville, Virginia. So again, it's awesome to see these individuals who are given such a bad hand utilize that to not only benefit themselves, but a community that they've cultivated and are part of on a bigger scale. Well, Roger's off the box there, and while we have a moment, Roger notes here that him and his wife Angie are looking forward to celebrating their 7th wedding anniversary in August. So, happy early anniversary to him and Angie, who he lists as amazing. So, goodbye, Roger, for putting the wife on there, and good best of luck to him this weekend. And Dan, we've come to the last.
We have the final group.
As we mentioned last, but certainly not least in terms of stories and personalities within this group. So I want to thank everybody that's tuned in here again. The third Chicago Adaptive Open presented by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. This is the first round. Tim Merrick with the CDGA, as well as Dan Roan on the mics. We've got CGN, a great partner of ours who has streamed this event for the last 3 years, out on the course providing this footage here for us. And we've come to the last tee time here with Jacob Elvog of Chicago. We've got Nicholas Brooks from Arlington, Virginia, and the aforementioned Hall of Famer himself, Dennis Walters. Looks like Jacob's going to be the first to tee off. He suffers from cerebral palsy as well. Calls Billy Caldwell home, his home course there.
Only 16 years of age. Graduates high school in 2028. One of his goals is to break 80. His lowest score is 80 at one of the White Pines courses in Bensonville.
This is Jacob's first appearance in a tournament like this, and lists a future goal as competing in more of these. So happy to have him here, and hope he gets a great experience out of the weekend.
All right, well done. Played on the varsity golf team in high school. Also a baseball player. Now Nicholas Brooks, Arlington, Virginia.
Was born with a condition that left him without the bone and muscle structure for a knee on his left leg. He's had 14 surgeries since he was 9 days old to correct club foot, fuse his left knee, and lengthen his leg.
Nice fundamental swing right there by Nicholas. And now the final tee shot of the morning will be struck by the man who no doubt is the most famous disabled golfer in America and quite possibly the world, Dennis Walters, a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame, noted trick shot artist. If you haven't seen his show, he's going to be around the Chicagoland area for the next month or so. If you get a chance to go see it, you should. He's got his trusty companion Augusta there. You can see his dog by his
four-legged
left side
there. Yep.
And we got quite the exhibition from Augusta as we played in the Pro-Am yesterday. Augusta will answer your questions. Any numerical question you have, Augusta will bark out the answer to it. For example, we said, what's the par on number 12 at Augusta National? Bark, bark, bark. What's the par at Pebble Beach, number 18? 5 barks. What's 7 minus 4? 3 barks. It was unbelievable.
Again, Dennis has made use of his circumstances to bring light to the adaptive community, but was a great golfer prior to this injury as well. And
yeah, was about to join the PGA Tour, actually, and was injured in a golf cart accident. And really hasn't missed a beat since. He's the premier seeded golfer in America, and he is just so much fun to play with. Such a great guy, very personable. And again, if you get a chance to see his show while he's around the Chicago area this summer, you should definitely take advantage of it. It's really quite something to see.
Super appreciative of him coming up here and calling Chicago home for a few weeks in terms of playing in this event, as you mentioned, doing shows around the Chicago district, and just his support of what we've been doing up here in the Chicago area in terms of adaptive golf. So thank you to the World Golf Hall of Famer. Well, Dan, we've reached the conclusion here of the first round of the 3rd annual Chicago Adaptive Open.
It's been great to see everybody get out there on the course and get their opening rounds going. We'll have some scores for you tomorrow morning when we come on the air around 11:30, and we'll take it to conclusion from that point and see who comes out the overall winner of the 3rd annual event here. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, Tim. Enjoyed it. Thanks to CGN and all of our fine crew here, including Eric Ciotti out there on the first tee. And we will all be back tomorrow with more golf at around 11:30 on this stream. So thanks so much for being with us, and we hope to see you tomorrow.